Live from New Delhi, you're watching the India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hosts German Chancellor Friedrich Merz in Gujarat. Both leaders visit Sabarmati Ashram and hold bilateral talks in Ahmedabad. India-Germany economic ties scale new heights as PM Modi and German Chancellor Merz attend India-Germany CEO Forum in Gujarat. Donald Trump says Iran sought negotiations after US warning of military intervention if crackdown continues. And Delhi shivers at 3.2 degrees Celsius. A severe cold wave tightens grip across North India. Red alert for East and West Rajasthan. Kashmir plunges below freezing. And one battle after another, adolescents among biggest winners in 83rd Golden Globe Awards. Hamnet claims top trophy. India-Germany economic ties are scaling new heights, driving mutual growth and innovation-led progress. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chancellor Friedrich Merz held productive discussions with Indian and German business leaders at the CEO Forum in Ahmedabad. Talks focused on accelerating investments in clean energy and green hydrogen, semiconductors, defense, manufacturing, engineering, digitization and finance, flagship areas powering economic partnership and creating skilled jobs for youth. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said India is a desired partner, a partner of choice for Germany.
Technological transformation and geopolitical uncertainty affect the way our economies operate and compete. Against this backdrop, the partnership between Germany and India is a strategic asset, economically, politically, and in a global context. I want to share with you three brief observations. First, India's and Germany's trade and investment relationship. India is an important trading partner for Germany, and the trade volume between the EU and India is at a record high.
Prime Minister Modi and the visiting German Chancellor held bilateral talks in West Indian city Gandhinagar. The two leaders discussed the entire gamut of bilateral relations between the two nations. The two leaders also took stock of the progress made in diverse aspects of India-Germany strategic partnership, which completed 25 years last year. Leaders also exchanged views on regional and global issues. PM Modi described India-Germany relations as strong and expanding across key sectors, including trade, technology and innovation.
बढ़ते व्यापार और निवेश संबंधों ने हमारे स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप को नई ऊर्जा दी है। हमारा द्विपक्षीय व्यापार अब तक के अपने सर्वोच्च स्तर पर पहुंच चुका है और $50 बिलियन के आंकड़े को पार कर गया है। 2000 से अधिक जर्मन कंपनियां लंबे समय से भारत में मौजूद है। ये भारत के प्रति उनके अटूट विश्वास और यहां मौजूद अनंत संभावनाओं को दर्शाता है। रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के क्षेत्र में भारत और जर्मनी की प्राथमिकताएं समान है। इसमें सहयोग को बढ़ाने के लिए हमने इंडिया जर्मनी सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस स्थापित करने का निर्णय लिया है। ये नॉलेज, टेक्नोलॉजी एंड इनोवेशन का साझा मंच बनेगा। हम क्लाइमेट, एनर्जी, अर्बन डेवलपमेंट और अर्बन मोबिलिटी जैसे क्षेत्रों में मिलकर नई परियोजनाओं को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन में दोनों देशों की कंपनियों का नया मेगा प्रोजेक्ट भविष्य की ऊर्जा के लिए एक गेम चेंजर साबित होगा।
Earlier, the two leaders began their engagements with a visit to the iconic Sabarmati ashram. The ashram, closely associated with Mahatma Gandhi, stands as a symbol of peace, non-violence and shared global values. India and Germany are celebrating 75 years of India-Germany diplomatic ties and 25 years of India-Germany strategic partnership. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz inaugurated the International Kite Festival 2026 along the west bank of Sabarmati riverfront in Ahmedabad. As many as 1,071 kite flyers, including 135 from 50 countries, 65 from 13 Indian states and 871 from 16 districts of Gujarat are participating in the festival. Germany, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Jordan, Australia, Indonesia are some of the countries participating. DD India's Tanvi Taneja reports.
Sunny day in Ahmedabad with brisk breezes to lift the kites aloft along the Sabarmati riverfront. The International Kite Festival, underway from 12th to 14th of January in Gujarat, brings with it the message of peace and harmony. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz took a heritage walk at the specially curated Ambavad site for the occasion. 108 Indian musicians presented the Grand Gujarat Symphony for the German Chancellor. The two leaders later also tried a hand at kite flying in the festive atmosphere. Multiple kites of Indian tricolour embedded in one string with Operation Sindoor mast was another highlight of the festival. Kite flyers from 50 countries and 13 Indian states participated in this festival.
I love your Prime Minister. Okay. So brilliant and
big kite festival. I visit Soti Kite Festival International and Gujarat Kite Festival, very nice. Many country delegation participating in here. I made Indian flag kite, Delta kite, very nice.
This year I'm making a Gujarat kite. That Gujarat kite is displayed all over the Gujarat in that deer jungles, that city side jalis, then Statue of Unity, then play of the kites, then Navratri, then Somnath Temple, everything Zakis in my kites.
It's a wonderful feeling, it's a wonderful event, one of the biggest kite festivals in the country. So I would like to request all the viewers that, you should get into the kite flying. It's not just for the entertainment, it have a lot of health benefits too. Postural correction, it's a kind of wellness therapy, holistic therapy for your frozen neck or text neck or the cervical problems, eyesight, lack of vitamin D. You get out of your comfortable space in the AC rooms and cabins, come into the ground, get more sunlight.
So in the heritage city of Ahmedabad, kite flying during Uttarayan is really rooted in Gujarat's cultural expression. People fly kites on January 14th every year. They transform their shared rooftops into collective spaces of joy. I'm here at the International Kite Festival on the Sabarmati riverfront, where kitists from 50 countries, 13 states are here, and there are about 1,000 plus kites flying in the sky right now. Their enthusiasm is high. The mood is very upbeat. Well, the wind is only catching up for these kites to roar higher in the sky. With camera person Anand Kashyap, this is Tanvi Taneja for DD India.
All right, and for more insights on India-Germany ties and how crucial this visit is, we are joined by Ambassador Sanjay Bhattacharya, former Secretary MEA. Welcome, sir. Appreciate you giving us your precious time. Ambassador Bhattacharya, to begin with, this is Chancellor Friedrich Merz's first official visit to India. Tell us, how significant is the timing of this visit, especially as India and Germany, they mark 75 years of diplomatic relations and also 25 years of strategic partnership?
You said it very correctly. This is a very important time for the two of us. Our relations come in the context not only of our bilateral ties, which are very significant, and our strategic partnership has been growing steadily, but also in terms of the changing geopolitics that we see around us. And thirdly, in terms of the aspirations for the reforms in global governance that we seek to have. So in all these three contexts, this is a very important one. For Friedrich Merz, this is his first official trip outside the EU and the US. So it kind of highlights the very important role that India plays in Germany's imagination and its future aspirations. It also sees India as a natural partner, not only for the bilateral ties in trade, technology, knowledge sector, mobility, but also in terms of how we work together on the Indo-Pacific, how we deal with the changing geopolitics in the West, and many other factors.
Ambassador, also the choice of Gujarat, Ahmedabad in particular is also notable. How significant and crucial is the location per se? I mean, political engagement with economic and cultural outreach?
Well, I think firstly, Prime Minister Modi has always sought to take many of the important visits outside the capital cities because a lot of the vitality of the country really lies in many of the states around. And therefore, he has tried to do this. And so Friedrich's visit, this time the Chancellor's visit to Ahmedabad, and I understand he may be going to Bengaluru after this, is actually an indication of the kind of priorities that India and Germany have that they share. Firstly, on the aspect of the manufacturing sector, the kind of collaborations that we're looking for, and in the services sector, which is already a very strong collaboration. Thirdly, I think the air in Delhi is still not very good in terms of pollution. It's good to do these very important visits outside.
Ambassador, also, let's talk about the MOUs. MOUs have been signed, pacts, agreements. Let's talk about that. Focus has been on trade, technology, skilling, mobility, sports and education too. What do you think, sir? Which of these areas is likely to see the most tangible outcomes in the near term?
I think the Germans have always viewed India as a very strong partner in the services sector. And it was for this reason that I think it was in 2022 that we had signed the Mobility Partnership Agreement. And we had a very long partnership with them on this sector for some time. This has been a very useful thing for the German economy. And in terms of the kind of services that we provided in healthcare, in caregivers, in terms of research and development, educational transformations, and then finally, of course, in linking up the knowledge sector and building technology hubs and innovation bridges. And so that will be a very key focus for us. And I understand some of the MOUs focus on this particular area, including that particular declaration, which looks for building up a knowledge hub. I think the other thing that is very important is the R&D component that is there. I expect that the GCCs that many of the German companies have been setting up in India will get a further boost. This will not only boost the skill potential in India, but will also give a boost to the Make in India and PLI initiatives that are so much at the core of our manufacturing sector thrust.
Strengthening India-Germany partnership. Ambassador, also the leaders are also engaging with business and industry representatives. What role do industry-to-industry ties play in sustaining long-term strategic partnerships like this one?
Well, the German companies have been in India for over 100 years, and they have a very strong and stable presence. We see them as a very positive factor, and we welcome their role, their technology, their management practices. What we see in recent times is the expansion of the sectors in which they are engaged, not just in the case of engineering and, high precision equipment, which the Germans are obviously famous for, but now diversifying further into new areas of energy, renewable energy, particularly in terms of, some of the knowledge inputs where R&D is a very high factor. There are over 2,000 German companies in India, and I understand over 500 Indian companies have a solid presence in Germany. So this is a partnership that is bound to grow for a long time. And let me add over here that for a long time, the Germans had seen India as a service partner and China as a manufacturing partner. But there have been many changes in that particular idea, and China is no longer a reliable or resilient partner for many countries in Europe. And therefore, they are looking at India for many of these partnerships. I anticipate that this is something that is bound to grow much further in the days to come.
Ambassador, also, Germany is one of India's most important partners within the European Union. How could this visit shape India's broader engagement with Europe in the coming years?
Germany is very keen that we conclude the India-Europe FTA at the earliest and on the best terms possible. The India-Germany trade is about $34 billion in goods and about another $16-17 billion in services. So it's a total of over $50 billion. But if you look at it in contrast to what Germany's trade with, say, China is, then it's a small fraction. And therefore, both of us realize that there is huge potential. And in that particular context, linking up with Europe, with Germany as a very key hub, will be very important. We have a very strong defense partnership with France. Germany is very keen that we build that kind of a partnership with Germany as well. So in many of these new technologies, strategic sectors, I see great hope in the days to come.
Ambassador, also finally looking ahead, what should be seen as the key takeaway from Chancellor Merz's India visit? What benchmarks should we watch for to assess whether this visit delivers lasting impact or not?
I think what it actually recognizes, and this has been true for India-Germany relations for a very long time, is that the strategic autonomy aspect of India's foreign policy approaches is widely recognized by the German side. So not only do we build our bilateral partnership in which we seek to give more of a forward-oriented, future-oriented perspective in which we look at the new emerging areas of high technology, of AI and so on. But we also look at some of our regional and global concerns. On the regional concern, the kind of support that we get from the Germans in terms of our expansion of relations with the Europeans, with EU in particular, is very, very important. How we look at our relations with Russia is something that, the Germans can be a great asset in that particular thing. And finally, I think with the changing geopolitics and the concerns that are being raised in many countries across the world about the reliability of China, the option of looking at India as an alternative will be very important. And in that context, German role in the Indo-Pacific has been growing, not only in terms of the strategic and security dimension, but also in terms of, as we've said, in the other dimensions of humanitarian assistance, economic cooperation, working on critical materials. And so this partnership has always been a very, very bright one, and it's kind of looking at things ahead of the curve.
All right, Ambassador, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for sharing your insights on India-Germany ties. Moving on, New Delhi continues to reel under an intense cool spell as temperatures plunge sharply across the national capital. According to the India Meteorological Department, the minimum temperature recorded at Delhi's Safdarjung Observatory on Monday stood at 3.2 degrees Celsius. On Sunday, the mercury dipped even further to 2.9 degrees, with Ayanagar recording the lowest temperature in the city. Dense fog has added to the winter blues, significantly impacting visibility across several parts of Delhi. In view of the foggy conditions, Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport has issued an advisory for passengers. Meanwhile, the Met Department has issued alerts for several states, warning that the combination of severe cold wave conditions and dense to very dense fog will continue to disrupt daily life across Northwest. All right, DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya joins us for the latest in Delhi. Hi Tapas, Delhi in the grip of a sharp cold wave with the national capital logging its coldest night in many years. Expected to get colder in the coming days or some respite expected?
I don't see any respite in the next 2 days at least. There are two very important points, Abhishek, I'd like to inform our viewers out here. The first is cold to severe cold wave conditions are currently prevalent over Punjab, Rajasthan, Haryana, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh. And at the same time, cold day to severe cold day. So there is a cold wave condition and there is a severe cold day condition that is also prevalent on these parts of Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana as well as Delhi. In fact, the second point that is of worrisome is that red alert has been issued by IMD, Indian Meteorological Department, over Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Rajasthan, Haryana, Chandigarh as well as Delhi and parts of West Rajasthan as well. And apart from that, places like Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, yellow alert has been sounded in these areas. So we don't see the temperature to abate in the next 2 to 3 days. After 14th, we believe there will be a respite and the temperature might just go over 5 to 6 degree temperature. But as of now, the prediction is that till 14th of January, the temperature will hover somewhere in the region of 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. So buckle up if you don't want to, if you don't have much work. Don't go out, especially in the evening or late in the night when the temperature plummets to almost 3 to 2 degrees Celsius. Abhishek.
Yeah, and also Tapas, what precautions are meteorologists advising residents to take over the next 2 days, like you said, 48 hours as the cold wave tightens its grip?
Yeah, the first and foremost is to keep themselves warm. There is also we were told that sort of a flu that is currently going on, so one has to be very careful about that. Don't take medicines without taking a prescription from the doctors. Stay warm, stay indoor, don't go out. If it's windy, try to cover yourself. So those are some of the basic warning that the meteorological department has issued. Also, because large swaths of northwest part of the country is under blanket fog, it is also advisable to not take the roads when the fog is at the peak. It is advisable to stay indoor, not travel at that particular time. As remember, early in the morning, the visibility at Delhi's Palam Airport as well as other places reduced to almost 100 meters.
Yeah.
So the visibility is also an issue, major cause of concern if somebody is traveling. Abhishek.
All right, Tapas, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for getting us the updates on that story. Moving on, US Ambassador to India, Sergio Gore, arrived in India last week. In his first public address, he conveyed President Donald Trump's best wishes to his friend Prime Minister Narendra Modi and said he will focus on strengthening ties between world's oldest democracy and largest democracy.
And with a clear mission to take the partnership between our two great nations to the next level. This is the intersection of the world's oldest democracy and the world's largest democracy. Here, I was with the president last week, and as we had dinner right after New Year's, he recounted his incredible experience visiting here and also his great friendship with the great Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Modi. I also hope that the president will be visiting us soon. Trump just yesterday. And I bring his warm wishes to all the people of India, especially his dear friend, the incredible Prime Minister, His Excellency, Prime Minister Modi.
And US Ambassador also announced that next month India will be invited to join US-led strategic initiative Pax Silica, which will cover critical minerals to advance manufacturing.
I also want to share with you today a new initiative that the United States launched just last month called Pax Silica. Pax Silica is a US-led strategic initiative to build a secure, prosperous, and innovation-driven silicon supply chain from critical minerals and energy inputs to advanced manufacturing, semiconductors, AI development, and logistics. Nations that joined last month include Japan, South Korea, the United Kingdom, and Israel. Today, I'm pleased to announce that India will be invited to join this group of nations as a full member next month.
All right, moving on. India's Electronics and Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnav will participate in the Critical Minerals Ministerial meeting to be held on Monday in the United States. Minister Vaishnav arrived in Washington, D.C. and emphasized that securing critical mineral supply chains is vital for India's goal of Viksit Bharat. Critical minerals such as lithium, cobalt, graphite, copper and rare earth elements are essential for clean energy technologies like solar panels, wind turbines, EVs and energy storage systems. To secure these resources, India launched the National Critical Mineral Mission, or the NCMM, in 2025 to ensure their long-term availability and processing. Now, India successfully flight tested a third-generation fire and forget man-portable anti-tank guided missile MPA-TGM with top attack capability against a moving target. The indigenously developed by DRDO, this anti-tank guided missile consists of state-of-the-art indigenous technologies which are developed by DRDO's sister laboratories. The imaging infrared homing seeker is well accomplished with day-and-night combat operation capability. The warhead is capable of defeating modern main battle tanks. The missile can be launched from tripod or military vehicle launcher. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has complimented DRDO and other partners for the successful test. He termed it as an important step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. Tamilaga Vetri Kasakam TVK Chief Joseph Vijay is being questioned at the CBI headquarters in Delhi regarding the Karur stampede case. The incident occurred during his political meeting on September 27, 2025 in Karur, Tamil Nadu, which resulted in 41 deaths and over 60 injuries. The CBI is examining several factors, including a 7-hour delay in leaders' arrival, alleged mismanagement of the event where the crowd swelled to 30,000 against an estimate of 10,000 and inadequate arrangements. Let's now take a look at other stories making news. The government said fish production in India has risen to about 198 lakh tons in 2024-25, up from 95 lakh tons in 2013-14, marking growth of over 106%. India is now the world's second largest fish producer, contributing nearly 8% to global output. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami on Monday flagged off the Swadeshi Sankalp Run from Gandhi Park in Dehradun, organized to mark the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. A large number of youths participated in the run, reflecting enthusiasm and commitment towards the ideals of nationalism and self-reliance. We are slipping into a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Newshour. US President Donald Trump warns Cuba, says make a deal or face unspecified consequences. Australia's parliament to reopen 2 weeks early to crack down on hate crimes and gun ownership following the mass shooting at Bondi Beach.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout ho gaya.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of our top stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hosts German Chancellor Friedrich Merz in Gujarat Both leaders visit Sabarmati Ashram and hold bilateral talks in Ahmedabad. India-Germany economic ties scale new heights as PM Modi and German Chancellor Merz attend India-Germany CEO Forum in Gujarat. Donald Trump says Iran sought negotiations after US warning of military intervention if crackdown continues. All right, updates from West Asia now. Nationwide protests against government continues in Iran as the unrest entered into third week. The protests on December 28 began as demonstrations against soaring inflation and economic hardship, but soon escalated into tense nationwide unrest marked by violent clashes between protesters and security forces. The Iranian government on Sunday declared 3 days of national mourning for martyrs, including members of the security forces killed in 2 weeks of protest. Iranian state TV broadcast funeral processions in western cities, including Gatsaran and Yasuj, for security personnel killed in protest. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump on Sunday said that Iran's leadership had called seeking to negotiate on nuclear after his warning of military action amid mass anti-government protests in the Islamic Republic.
Iran called to negotiate. Yesterday, the leaders of Iran called they want to negotiate. I think they're tired of being beat up by the United States. Iran wants to negotiate, yes. We may meet with them. I mean, a meeting is being set up. But we may have to act because of what's happening before the meeting. But a meeting is being set up. Iran called, they want to negotiate. Thank you very much, everybody.
Iran has warned it will retaliate if attacked by the United States. Iranian authorities accused the US and Israel of fomenting trouble. The state television reported that government called for nationwide marches on Monday. President Masoud Pezeshkian urged people to take part in a national resistance march to denounce the violence. And United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has meanwhile expressed shock over reports of violence against protesters in Iran. He urged Iranian authorities to exercise maximum restraint and refrain from unnecessary or disproportionate use of force. He also urged steps that enable access to information in the country, including restoring communications. All right, so these are the visuals of United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who has expressed shock over reports of violence against the protesters in Iran. He has in fact urged Iranian authorities to exercise maximum restraint and refrain from any unnecessary or disproportionate use of force. He has also urged steps that enable access to information in the country, including restoring communication. All right, for more updates, we are joined by DD India's Akhilesh Suman. Hi Akhilesh, first of all, the protests in Iran, it has entered the third week. Bring us up to speed. How widespread is the unrest at this point?
Actually, if you say that the extent of unrest, I can say that whatever I'm getting from Iranian side and also from other sides, that unrest is increasing by every day. And every day more people are joining the unrest. There is no letdown by the any of the people who wants that Khamenei should be out. So in that way, you can say that every effort to stop the unrest in Iran has failed till now. Recently, I have heard that Foreign Minister of Iran has just made a statement that he has made a statement in context of USA that we don't want war, but we are ready for war. We want negotiation. That Mr. Donald Trump was telling earlier that the Iranian government has contacted us that they want negotiation. So in that way, I think it is the pressure of the unrest in Iran. That is why now the foreign minister is speaking that, we want negotiation. Earlier, Iranian president was also telling the same thing. He wanted that, the protesters should be dealt with, calmly. He has appealed the people who are enforcing the law there. I think that whatever it be the situation, the more and more people are joining, and they are being encouraged by whatever support is coming from the US side by statements, and many of the people are feeling that this is time that Khamenei should decide what to do, because he had to talk to the people who are joining the movement. He has not yet opened the door for people to come and talk to him. As you know, that Iranian government, the civilian government doesn't have much power. The whole power rests with Mr. Khamenei, who is the theocratic chief of the country. And in that situation, even the people who are following the Islamic tradition, who are following the Islamic religion, if they are going against this type of theocratic state, so that is a very big concern for them who are in power, because they thought that after Islamic rule, people will be following the Islamic rule, they will never revolt. Because if you know the history of Iran, there had been revolt many a times. And most of the revolts have taken place after discontent has grown, and West and Americans have supported those discontent. The same situation has come now, that people are feeling that they are not satisfied. The things are getting difficult for them. The connection with the West has gone down for public people, people-to-people contact. So in that way, I think people are bolstered and they are coming on roads that this government should go. And now it will depend that how far they talk to the government and how they will assure the Americans that what type of rule will be there. But I feel that this is very difficult for situation
Akhilesh,
for the Iranian administration.
Donald Trump has claimed Iran's leadership reached out to negotiate on the nuclear issue. We just heard him. Iran has warned of retaliation if attacked by the United States. You have been tracking this story. Looking ahead, what are the possible scenarios? Do you see space for reform, a security clampdown, or a prolonged cycle of protest and repression?
I think that Iran has seen that when they fight with Israel, they fight with America, and when they fight with Israel, the Americans come to attack Iranians. And recently, we have seen that how their nuclear establishment has been struck by B-2 bombers of Americans. And Donald Trump is giving hint that it may be more disastrous than the earlier bombing. So in that way, I think that good senses might prevail on Iranian regime, and that is why they are giving the hint that we want to negotiate, we want to talk. But seeing the tradition that Mr. Trump follows, Mr. Maduro was also telling the same thing a day before he was picked up by the American forces, that he wanted to negotiate with America. And America said that it is too late. The same way I think it is happening with Iran, that they are not talking directly, they are not giving a statement of any negotiation, but they are, in a way, they are threatening. And I think the language of threatening will not work with Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is a different, has a different strategy. And what he wants to say, he wants to say. As Marco Rubio has told, that he means what he says and he means what he wants to do. So I think this is a very difficult time for Iranians. They should go into negotiation as early as possible. Otherwise, it is coming to be very difficult time for them, as far as I can see.
Yes, next few days will be very crucial. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for getting us the latest on that story, Akhilesh. Let's move on. US President Donald Trump has urged Cuba to make a deal or face unspecified consequences, warning that the flow of Venezuelan oil and money to Havana would stop now that Maduro was gone. Trump said Sunday morning on his Truth Social platform, and I quote him here, "There will be no more oil or money going to Cuba. I strongly suggest they make a deal before it is too late." Unquote. He said Cuba lived for many years on large amounts of oil and money from Venezuela. In return, Cuba provided security services for the last two Venezuelan dictators, but not anymore. The social media post drew an angry retort from Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel, who said no one would tell his country what to do, while Cuba's foreign minister responded by saying his nation retained the right to import fuel without interference. Meanwhile, Venezuela's government in a statement called for political and diplomatic dialogue between Washington and Havana. US President Donald Trump said on Sunday that credit card companies would be in violation of the law if they failed to comply with his demand by January 20 for a 10% cap on interest rates. On January 10, Trump called for a one-year cap on credit card interest rates at 10% to take effect from January 20, 2026. He positioned the proposal as a consumer protection measure aimed at reducing the burden of high credit card borrowing cost. Trump strongly criticized issuers that routinely charge annual percentage rates of 20 to 30% or even higher. And in Pakistan, a 23-year-old Hindu farmer has been shot dead in Sindh province, leading to widespread protests by the Hindu community. The police arrested the landlord Sarfaraz Nizamani and his facilitator Zafarullah Khan from Hyderabad on Saturday night. Kailash Kohli was shot at for allegedly constructing a shelter in the land owned by Nizamani in Talhar village of Badin district on January 4. The Hindu community erupted in protest after Kohli was shot dead by Nizamani, who didn't want him building a shelter on his land. Kohli succumbed at a hospital due to the bullet wounds. An FIR was filed by his brother Poon Kumar Kohli, after which the police team was formed. All right, we'll come back to the story, but let's go across live to the MEA press conference.
The ongoing official visit of Chancellor of Germany. We also have with us Additional Secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs, Shri Piyush Srivastava. With that, I'll request Foreign Secretary to make his opening remarks, after which we'll take some questions. Please do bear with us. Please, when we open the floor, please raise your hand, and thereafter we'll ask you to put forth your question. So with that, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Randir. Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining this briefing. As you are all aware, the Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, His Excellency Friedrich Merz, is on his first official visit to India after taking over as Chancellor. Notably, this is also his first visit to Asia after taking office last year. He arrived in Ahmedabad very early this morning, around 2 o'clock in the morning, and was warmly received at the airport by the Honorable Governor, the Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat, and the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister. The Chancellor is accompanied by a high-powered official delegation as well as a large business delegation, which reflects the importance that both sides place on the trade, business and investment side of the relationship. The timing of this visit is also particularly significant. It's taking place in the Silver Jubilee year, 25 years after the establishment of the strategic partnership between India and Germany. And it is also taking place in the Platinum Jubilee year, the 75th year after the establishment of diplomatic relations between India and the Federal Republic of Germany. And the visit, therefore, provides an opportunity to take stock of this very rich, very important partnership, and more importantly, to set an ambitious agenda and target for the future. The Chancellor had a busy program on the first day of the visit. In fact, he's still in the process of completing his engagements for the day. This morning, he was welcomed by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi at Sabarmati Ashram. The two leaders visited the ashram and paid tribute to the memory of Mahatma Gandhi. They visited Hriday Kunj, where the Chancellor was given a demonstration of the charkha. And thereafter, at the Sabarmati riverfront, Chancellor Merz and Prime Minister Modi participated in the famous kite festival of Ahmedabad, which sees participants and visitors from around the world. Following that, the Chancellor and the Prime Minister held wide-ranging discussions in restricted as well as delegation-level formats, covering the entire spectrum of the bilateral relationship, as well as regional and global developments. And let me just give you a flavor of the discussions that took place between the two leaders. The Chancellor, for instance, remarked on the changing world order, the instability that global order is facing, and why in this context it is ever more important for India and Germany to take their relationship to a new level and to do much more, in fact, in his words. And in this context, he laid particular emphasis on Germany's very strong support for the early conclusion of the India-EU FTA. As you are all aware, in another fortnight's time, the EC President and the European Council President both will be visiting New Delhi, where we hope to take these discussions forward towards a favorable conclusion. Chancellor Merz also emphasized repeatedly the strategic approach that Germany was bringing to its relationship with India, that it regarded the relationship with India as an asset in these uncertain times. And in particular, again, there was a considerable amount of discussion on the defense side of the relationship, which is seeing good and very promising progress. One of the things that has been a high point in the relationship in recent years is the people-to-people relationship. The growing Indian expatriate community in Germany, including students. There are today nearly 60,000 students in Germany and nearly 300,000 people of Indian origin in Germany, a number that has grown quite significantly in just the last half a dozen years or so. And it was heartening to hear Chancellor Merz extend a hearty welcome to this expatriate community, to Indian students, to skilled workers from India, given the fact that they complement the needs that German society, German business, and the German economy have at this point in time. And this is now important enough for the German authorities to consider putting dedicated institutional arrangements in place to look at issues related to the community. As you are aware, the two leaders also addressed the CEOs Forum after their talks, and there too, again, the Chancellor emphasized that it was not a coincidence that India was his first destination in Asia after taking over as Chancellor. He referred to the fact that India and Germany share a relationship of long-standing trust, of political principles and democratic institutions, and that in these times it was particularly important to strengthen resilience, to protect our respective economic bases, especially against dangerous one-sided dependency on external actors. And therefore, it was important to diversify our supply chains, increase the linkages that we have between our trade, business, and investment communities. And testimony of that was the very strong business delegation that was accompanying him. In his remarks, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi pointed to the strong growth that had taken place in trade between India and Germany, which has now crossed nearly $51 billion, and that represents a quarter of all of India's trade with the European Union. And the Honorable Prime Minister emphasized on the need to draw up a vision for taking this development forward. He also referred to the trend that we are seeing in terms of control and weaponization of technologies, and therefore the need for India and Germany to cooperate in this regard. And therefore some of the agreements that are being or that were signed during this visit and announced during this visit, such as those related to semiconductors, to critical minerals, etc., were also referred to by the Prime Minister. A special mention was also made by the Prime Minister of the flagship India-Germany cooperation program, the Green and Sustainable Development Program, under which Germany extends assistance to green energy infrastructure programs in India. And I should say that two of those programs are in this state itself, in the form of the assistance that has been extended to the Ahmedabad Metro and to the Surat Metro project. In addition, the Prime Minister also welcomed the ongoing cooperation between India and Germany on green hydrogen, as well as the agreement that was signed, again announced during this visit, on the offtake of green ammonia from an Indian company by a German company. Prime Minister also referred, in keeping with the focus on technology cooperation between the two countries, on the need to expand our defense cooperation, the potential that was there for space cooperation. Germany has recently set up a dedicated ministry for research and development in space, so that offers new opportunities, and how science and technology has been an area of long-standing engagement between India and Germany. And finally, as did the Chancellor, the Prime Minister as well emphasized on the Indian expatriate community in Germany as a constructive force, as one that brought in complementarity between Indian skills and German manufacturing, and the fact that Germany was increasingly emerging as a preferred education destination for Indian students. So these were amongst the key subjects that the leaders touched on. As I said, the two sides also exchanged a number of important agreements and understandings. This has been a very outcome-rich visit. 19 MOUs were signed and exchanged during this visit, and a further 8 announcements related to different areas and understandings were made. So total of about 27 outcomes during this very, very short visit that is taking place. A list of these announcements, these agreements and undertakings will be available on our website very soon after this briefing, together with the joint statement that has also been released by the two sides on the occasion of this visit. The Chancellor is currently visiting the world-famous Adlej Stepwell in Ahmedabad, and he will tomorrow travel to Bengaluru, where he will visit the premises of the German company Bosch and the Center for Nanoscience and Engineering at the Indian Institute of Science in Bengaluru. Again, these engagements highlight the strong technology, innovation and industry linkages between the two countries. I'll just refer briefly to some of the key outcomes of the visit. I won't go through all of them. As I said, there are about 27 elements in this, but mainly I would refer and highlight the joint declaration of intent for the India-Germany CEOs Forum and the holding of the CEOs Forum meeting. There were understandings adopted in the areas of semiconductors, critical minerals, telecommunications, artificial intelligence, and the digital domain. The two sides also launched a new bilateral R&D program in bioeconomy and concluded an MOU in traditional medicine between the All India Institute of Ayurveda and the Charité University. They also, as I said, witnessed the announcement of an offtake agreement between AM Green and Uniper Global Commodities for the initial supply of 125 kilotons of green ammonia per annum, scaling up to over 500 kilotons per annum over 15 years to Germany. The two leaders have also announced their intention to develop a defense industrial cooperation roadmap, and insofar as the key area of mobility, education, and skilling is concerned, in this too, there are some important understandings that were reached, notably the adoption of the higher education roadmap. An MOU was also signed between the German Maritime Museum in Bremerhaven and the National Maritime Heritage Complex at Lothal. There is, as you can see, a growing convergence between India and Germany, not just on these important bilateral matters, but also on issues in the international arena. Both the leaders had the opportunity to discuss at length regional and global issues of mutual interest, including the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the situation in West Asia, developments in the Indo-Pacific, especially where the two countries are closely collaborating. So in conclusion, I would say that Chancellor Merz's visit, though short, has imparted strong momentum to the India-Germany strategic partnership across all of its key pillars. As Prime Minister Modi noted, in an uncertain global environment, both India and Germany value reliable and trusted partnerships, and we are sure that the outcomes of this visit would reinforce the depth, ambition, and long-term vision of our partnership for shared prosperity and stability. The Chancellor extended an invitation to Prime Minister Modi for the regular institutional mechanism that exists at the highest level between the two leaders, which is the India-Germany Intergovernmental Cooperation mechanism, which will be held this year in Berlin, in Germany, and the Prime Minister said that he looked forward to visiting Germany for that purpose. So let me stop here, and I'd be happy to take a few questions. Thank you.
आप प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं. प्रश्न पूछने से पहले मैं आपकी तरफ इशारा करूंगा, तो उसके बाद आप अपना प्रश्न आगे रखें. इधर से शुरू करते हैं, प्लीज़.
सर नमस्कार, मेरा नाम मनीष झा है, मैं TV 9 से हूँ. अभी आपने भी बताया कि दोनों लीडर ने ग्लोबल इश्यूज़ पर डिस्कस किया है, और प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने भी यूक्रेन और गज़ा की बात कही थी, जर्मन चांसलर ने ईरान के बारे में कहा. तो अगर आप बता सकें कि ईरान और ग्रीनलैंड को लेकर दोनों लीडर के बीच में क्या बातचीत हुई, कितना कुछ आप उस पर शेयर कर सकते हैं. और जो दूसरा कि आपने भी बताया कि डिफेंस कॉपरेशन को लेकर दोनों देशों में MOU भी हुए हैं, काफ़ी अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी हुई है. तो थोड़ा अगर आप उसका डिटेल दे सकें कि क्या सबमरीन को लेकर दोनों देशों में सहमति बन गई है ज्वाइंट प्रोडक्शन को लेकर. थैंक यू.
प्लीज़ प्रणय.
फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी प्रणय उपाध्याय, इंडिया टुडे आज तक से. बेबी अरीहा का मामला बहुत समय से भारत और जर्मनी के बीच में चर्चा में चल रहा है, तो अगर आप बता सकें क्या प्रधानमंत्री ने इस मुद्दे को जर्मन चांसलर के साथ उठाया था और उस पर क्या आश्वासन मिल पाया है. और इसके अलावा माइग्रेशन और मोबिलिटी एग्रीमेंट को लेकर क्या नेक्स्ट फेज़ को लेकर कोई चर्चा हुई है, जिसमें हम जो वीज़ाज़ हैं उसको और कैसे लिबरल कर सकते हैं और क्या चीज़ें इंश्योर की जा सकती हैं ताकि भारतीय प्रोफेशनल लीगल तरीके से जर्मनी और जा सकें.
आदित्य.
Foreign Secretary Aditya Raj Kaul from NDTV. I want to ask about Chancellor Merz's statement about the security policy and the defense production. He says that this needs to increase between India and Germany, but he also said that this is to decrease the dependence of India on Russia. How do you react to that statement, and particularly on the submarine that perhaps is being clinched very soon between India and Germany? Secondly, on the visa issue, the free transit facility that has been announced, this clearly means that the travelers will be obviously inside the airport and cannot exit. But this is coming as a big relief. So how beneficial will this be for the Indian travelers? Thank you very much.
You have a question there?
सर, हम अप्रिशिएट करते हैं कि भारत के जो व्यापारी हैं ट्रेड के बारे में आप इतना इनिशिएटिव ले रहे हैं। साथ साथ मेरी रजूआत है, मैं टीवी 18 नेटवर्क से हूँ, गीता मेहता मेरा नाम है। हम चाहते हैं कि लोगों की संवेदनाओं के प्रति भी आप ज़्यादा टेक केयर करें। मैं वही सवाल फिर से दोहराना चाहूँगी अरीहा शाह के बारे में। सर, अरीहा शाह के जो पेरेंट्स हैं वो गुजरात ओरिजिन से हैं। 4 साल से वो बच्ची अनाथालय में पल रही हैं। जो जर्मन हॉस्पिटल था उन्हें एब्यूजिंग का आरोप लगाया था, जो बाद में कोर्ट में फेक साबित हुआ है। इवन मेडिकल टेस्ट में भी फेक साबित हुआ है। एक एमपी है राज्यसभा के, उन्होंने भी इसके बारे में रजूआत की है। तो अगर ये चांसलर यहाँ पे आए हैं तो इसके बारे में श्रीमान जयशंकर जी बात करेंगे, क्योंकि श्रीमान जयशंकर को लेटर लिखा गया है और गुजरात ओरिजिन से ये दंपति हैं जो काफ़ी पीड़ित हैं और उनकी जो बच्ची है वो भी उसी अवस्था में होगी। तो वो सवाल पूरे टीवी 18 नेटवर्क की तरफ से हमारे लिए बहुत प्रायोरिटी है, क्योंकि ये संवेदनाओं की बात है। थैंक यू।
यस, क्वेश्चन।
गुड आफ्टरनून, आई एम चिंतन आचार्य फ्रॉम दिव्य भास्कर।
नमस्कार, मैं केतन जोशी CNBC आवाज़ से। सर, अभी जो आपने 27 MOU की बात की, तो अगर उनकी साइज़ आप बता पाए। दूसरी ओर ये कितना महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि एक तरफ US की डील होते होते अटक जाती है और अभी उनके एम्बेसडर ने एक स्टेटमेंट भी दिया कि हम कल से इसके ऊपर और बात करने वाले हैं। तो क्या इसको जोड़कर भी अगर आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? एक तरफ US डील अटकी है, दूसरी तरफ जर्मनी के 27 MOU, कितने मायने?
So we can take these questions and come back.
Okay. तो मेरे विचार में सबसे पहले आप में से कई मित्रों ने बेबी अरेहा का जो मामला है उसके बारे में प्रश्न पूछे हैं और जाहिर है कि ये एक बहुत ही संवेदनशील विषय है। इसको लेके काफ़ी समय से जर्मन सरकार के साथ जर्मनी की जितनी भी अथॉरिटीज़ हैं, यहाँ दिल्ली में उनके राजदूतावास के साथ और बर्लिन में जर्मन सरकार के साथ और उनकी सभी जो एजेंसीज़ हैं जो इससे जुड़ी हुई हैं, उनके साथ हमारी बातचीत चल रही है। जैसा कि आपको ध्यान है, ये मामला एक तरह से एक समय पे लीगल मामला था, लेकिन हमारा मानना है कि ये मामला अंततः एक ह्यूमैनिटेरियन इश्यूज़ को ध्यान में रखते हुए ये इस तरह से इसको अप्रोच किया जाना चाहिए। जो परिवार की व्यथा है, जो उनकी मुश्किलें हैं, मैं ये तो नहीं कह सकता कि हम उनको समझते हैं, क्योंकि सिर्फ वही उसको अच्छी तरह से समझ सकते हैं, लेकिन हमें पूरी जानकारी है इसके बारे में और हर समय पे जितना हमसे बन पड़ रहा है हम उनकी मदद करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। ये भी कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि बेबी अरेहा को जितनी उसकी परवरिश एक तरह से एक भारतीय माहौल में हो सके, चाहे वो भारतीय लोगों के साथ उठना बैठना हो, भारतीय त्यौहार जो वहाँ जर्मनी में मनाए जा रहे हों वहाँ पे वो आके उनमें भाग ले सके और उसे हिंदी सीखने का इंतज़ाम करना, इन सभी चीज़ों पे हमारी कोशिश चल रही है। कुछ और चीज़ों को लेके भी अभी हाल ही में हमने कोशिश की है। मैं अभी इस समय पे उसमें ज़्यादा डिटेल में नहीं जाना चाहता, लेकिन आप सबको ये आश्वासन देना चाहता हूँ कि हम जर्मन सरकार के साथ प्रतिबद्ध हैं इसको पूरी तरह से, और हर स्टेज पे इसके बारे में बात करने का। और हाँ, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी इसके बारे में चांसलर मर्ज से इस चीज़ का जिक्र किया, तो हम इसके साथ इस इशू को लेके जर्मन सरकार के साथ इसको फॉलो अप करते रहेंगे, और हमेशा हर कदम पे हम परिवार के साथ रहेंगे। ये आप मान के चलिए कि हम इस इशू को, जो हमारे बाकी इश्यूज़ हैं, बाकी मुद्दे हैं जो जर्मनी के साथ हमारे रिश्ते हैं, उनसे अलग हट के नहीं देखते। ये इसकी भी उतनी ही प्रायोरिटी है जितनी बाकी इश्यूज़ की प्रायोरिटी है। और मेरे साथी बैठे हुए हैं एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी यूरोप, जो काफ़ी फ्रीक्वेंटली इनकी परिवार से बात होती है, और जब भी उनका यहाँ पे आना होता है उनसे मुलाकात होती है, और जो कुछ हम कर सकते हैं हम अपनी तरफ से करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, और आपको समय समय पे हम अपडेट करते रहेंगे इसके बारे में। थिंक कुछ आप में से कुछ मित्रों ने डिफेंस कोऑपरेशन और जर्मनी के साथ जो सबमरीन को लेके बातचीत चल रही है उसके बारे में कुछ सवाल उठाए हैं। तो देखिए, जहाँ तक डिफेंस कोऑपरेशन का संबंध है, पिछले कुछ सालों में हमने देखा है कि जो जर्मनी की नीतियां हैं डिफेंस कोऑपरेशन को लेके, उनमें भारत को लेके साफ बदलाव देखने में आया है। जो पहले स्थिति थी जहाँ पे जो निर्यात के लिए क्लियरेंसेस वगैरह चाहिए होती थी, जिनमें बहुत समय लगता था, या वो निर्यात के लिए जो क्लियरेंसेस चाहिए होती थी वो मिलती नहीं थी आसानी से, वो हमने देखा है कि वो अब काफ़ी जल्दी, काफ़ी तेज़ी से होने लगी हैं, और अब जो बैकलॉग है वो करीब करीब पूरी तरह से क्लियर हो गया है। और एक तरह से आपने सबमरीन को लेके जो सवाल उठाया, आई थिंक आदित्य, यू हैड आल्सो रेज दिस पॉइंट अबाउट द सबमरीन डील. As you are probably aware, there are technical, financial, commercial discussions that are involved in a deal of this kind. These discussions are continuing. All I can say is that the discussions have maintained a positive momentum, but at this point in time, since these have not concluded, it's difficult for me to say where we are exactly. I think the Defense Ministry would have a better sense of that, but what I can say is that the discussions are proceeding positively, and we hope to see a positive outcome. You also mentioned about the security policy related remarks that the German Chancellor had made, and some other related remarks on the decrease in our sourcing from other sources. I think insofar as the security policy aspect is concerned, he was pointing to what I was talking about earlier, which is the change in the approach that Germany has taken with regard to defense and security policy insofar as India is concerned. But look, our approach on defense sourcing is driven entirely by our national interests. There are a lot of factors involved in that, and it is certainly not ideological. It is entirely driven by our interests. So I would not say that sourcing from one is linked to sourcing from the other. We have a process in place that sets the requirements that we have at any given time, and we look at where in the world, if we are going to source it from outside, if we are not going to manufacture it domestically, then where can we source it from in the most convenient manner. But I don't think one is influenced by the other. A number of questions I think were posed related to migration, mobility, and this transit visa related issue. Now on migration and mobility, as I said, we've seen very positive developments in the last few years. There is a migration and mobility partnership agreement between India and Germany. As a result of that, we've seen a healthy flow of skilled individuals from India to Germany, students from here. And even during the course of the discussions today, the German Chancellor pointed to specific areas such as caregivers and nurses, in which there is a very large demand in Germany. So the outlook on that is very good. And I referred in my earlier remarks to the fact that this is important enough now for German authorities to consider dedicated institutional arrangements, and we will be discussing those issues with them. On the visa transit related issue, I believe that this is something the German government and German authorities have been paying a considerable amount of attention to recently. And I can tell you that there is, in principle, a decision to exempt Indian nationals from the need for a separate transit visa for travel to other countries from Germany. But I do want to use this opportunity to inform all of you, and through all of you to those who are listening to this or will read about this, that this is something that is in progress. So we should wait for the paperwork in this regard to be completed, for the official announcement to be made, because there are a certain number of internal legal and other processes in Germany that are involved. But we do believe that this decision has in principle been taken, and once it is implemented, it will considerably ease and facilitate the travel of our people and promote people-to-people contact. केतन जी, आपका सवाल था जो 27 MOU हैं उनको लेके, और जो US एम्बेसडर ने बात की है डील के बारे में, तो US एम्बेसडर ने जो कहा है मुझे अभी देखने का मौका नहीं मिला है क्योंकि मैं सवेरे से यहाँ पे हूँ, लेकिन जो ये 27 MOU हैं ये सभी काफ़ी इम्पॉर्टेंट हैं, अलग अलग एरियाज़ में हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी के एरिया में है, स्किलिंग के एरिया में है, ट्रेड के एरिया में है, क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स के एरियाज़ में है। और एक तरह से अगर हम अपनी सारी अर्थव्यवस्था को देखें तो ये बहुत ही एक तरह से सिग्निफिकेंट डेवलपमेंट है, मेरा मानना है। तो इनका एज सच US डील से कोई लेना देना है नहीं, ये दो अलग अलग रिलेशनशिप्स हैं, और हमें दोनों रिलेशनशिप्स में देखना पड़ेगा कि हम दोनों अपने जो सहयोगी देश हैं उनके साथ क्या क्या कर सकते हैं। हाँ, look, on Iran and Greenland, these are, I mean, I won't be able to go into the details of what the two leaders discussed, but insofar as the situation in Iran is concerned, I mean, it's a country that we have a very close relationship with, so we are watching the developments that are taking place there, the disturbances that one can see on the streets over there. We have a significant community of expatriate Indians and also students from India in Iran. Our embassy, despite the restrictions that are in place on information, etc., has been able to reach out to the student community and has managed to find out that they are all good, they are doing well, and they have not faced any difficulties thus far. We have advised all of our compatriots there to rest in place, to not venture out or find themselves in the middle of the disturbances that are going on, and we continue to watch the situation very, very carefully. And on Greenland, I think we have as much information as you have, and we are continuing to watch these developments related to that. Thank you.
We have more questions. A question here first.
Sir, I'm Chintan Acharya from Dainik Bhaskar, Divya Bhaskar group. I would like to ask you that free trade agreement that is going to be signed between EU and India, is it going to ease the burden on India post-tariff regime by US, and India is seeking other markets across the globe? And if so, how much of burden would be decreased from India post this FTA?
We have a question there behind. Yeah, please.
Good evening, sir. This is Aparna Khun from Akashvani News. So you just mentioned about the increasing cooperation between the two countries with respect to green hydrogen and green mobility. And you also mentioned regarding the Surat and Ahmedabad project, I guess. So can you please elaborate on that? And because Gujarat being the emerging hub of green hydrogen and Germany being the one of the largest producer of green hydrogen in the world, so how will it benefit to India and particularly Gujarat? And
Any more questions? Sir, there's a question there.
सर मेरा नाम ब्रिजेश है, मैं आज तक से हूँ। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जर्मन चांसलर ने भी अपने प्रेस स्टेटमेंट में कहा था कि भारतीय छात्रों का एक बड़ा समूह जर्मनी में पढ़ता है और पिछले महीने ही दिसंबर महीने में वीज़ा इश्यूज़ और फीस को लेकर छात्रों को निकालने की एक बात हुई थी जर्मनी में। क्या उस पर कोई बातचीत हुई और क्या उसमें कोई रिलैक्सेशंस मिलने वाले हैं भारतीय छात्रों को? एक बड़ा हिस्सा वहाँ पे पढ़ाई करता है और जर्मन चांसलर कह रहे थे कि वहाँ पे उनको ज़रूरत भी है भारतीय छात्रों की जॉब के लिए भी, तो क्या उस पर कुछ निकला है?
Sir, we can take these questions.
Okay. So, Chetan, your question on the India-EU FTA, and I think you are trying to draw some implications for our discussions that are also on with the US. Again, these two stand on their own. It is a fact that insofar as the India-EU FTA is concerned, this is an agreement that has been under discussion for quite a long time. But there is no doubt that on account of developments in recent years, the urgency in concluding this FTA has increased. And last year in February, when the EU College of Commissioners paid an unprecedented visit to India, a political decision was taken at the highest level to expedite the conclusion of this FTA. Since then, the two sides have conducted several rounds of intense negotiations. I believe at least 6 physical negotiation rounds have been held, and a very large number of virtual negotiating rounds have been held. As a result of that, there is a considerable amount of progress that has been made. Certainly, this is an effort by us to look at expanding our markets, even as markets elsewhere come under pressure. The EU is a very large trading partner for India, but there is much more potential. As I said, with Germany alone, we have $50 billion in trade, which is 1/4 of our total trade with the EU. But as both the Prime Minister and the German Chancellor said, there is scope for doing much, much more. So we believe that the India-EU FTA will serve that purpose. The discussions with the US as well, they are continuing to take place. We remain engaged with them, but there is no real connection between the two. They are being taken forward as independent enterprises. Aparna, your question on the initiatives related to green hydrogen, the green and sustainable development partnership between India and Germany. As I pointed out earlier also, this is a flagship area of our cooperation. and the GSDP has in fact contributed to some
We'll try to establish the connection again. All right, like I said, so this was in fact India's External Affairs special briefing on German Chancellor's visit to India. Vikram Misri, Secretary MEA, said visit provides opportunity to take stock of the partnership and set ambitious agenda and target for future. He spoke about the schedule also, including meeting Prime Minister Modi. He said discussion primarily focused on changing world order instability that global order is facing. Important for India and Germany to take relationship to new level, particular emphasis on India-EU FTA. High point in relationship is people-to-people relationship. Growing Indian expatriate community in Germany and number has grown significantly. So Chancellor expressed heartiest welcome to expatriates. He said two leaders also addressed CEO's forum. Chancellor emphasized that not a coincidence that India being the first in Asia that he has visited, time important to strengthen resilience. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he said in his remarks, talked about trade growth, need to draw a vision for taking this development forward between India and Germany. Also referred to trend we are seeing on technology. He spoke about agreements to semiconductors, critical minerals, etc. And PM also welcomed the ongoing cooperation between countries on green hydrogen. He also said that talked about need to expand defense cooperation, also spoke about space cooperation, science and technology area of long-standing relationship. So Germany increasingly emerging as preferred destination for education. Overall, he said very outcome-rich visit, and he spoke about the MOUs also. 19 MOUs, he said, and outcome signed 27 in total in this visit. And he also said that Chancellor Friedrich Merz will tomorrow travel to Bengaluru. He gave the itinerary also. He also gave the details of the MOUs that have been signed between India and Germany. So this is primarily the gist of what Secretary MEA said on the visit of German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, and we will have a detailed story soon. And in fact, we have established the connection and we'll go to the MEA press conference special briefing again.
फिजिकल क्लासेस नहीं हो रही हैं, सारा डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म है. तो अगर डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म है तो उसके चलते जो स्टूडेंट्स की वहाँ पे डिमांड थी वीज़ा एक्सटेंशन की, उसको लेके कुछ सवाल उठे, तो जर्मन अथॉरिटीज़ ने उसको एग्जामिन करना चाहा. पर चूंकि कोई आवश्यकता नहीं थी स्टूडेंट्स के वहाँ पे होने की इस प्रोग्राम में भाग लेने के लिए, क्योंकि ये डिस्टेंस लर्निंग प्रोग्राम है जो वो भारत से भी कर सकते थे, तो वीज़ाज़ को रिवोक करके उनको डिपोर्टेशन ऑर्डर्स दिए गए. कई स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे थे जिनको डिपोर्टेशन ऑर्डर्स मिले जिन्होंने अपना कोर्स पूरा कर लिया था, तो उनको वैसे भी वापस आना था. लेकिन जो बाकी स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनके लिए जो भी मुश्किल हो रही है, उस सिलसिले में हम जर्मन अथॉरिटीज़ के साथ हमारी बातचीत चल रही है और हम वहाँ पे उनकी मदद करने की कोशिश करेंगे.
One last question. Yes.
I am Vivek Mehta from Gujarat समाचार. सब यूएस के टैरिफ के बाद 1 जनवरी से ईयू कंट्रीज ने कार्बन बॉर्डर एडजस्टमेंट मैकेनिज्म के अंडर इंपोर्ट ड्यूटी कुछ बढ़ा दी है या टैक्स बढ़ा दिए, तो उसकी वजह से हमारी एक्सपोर्ट कम हो रही है. एक तरफ यूएसए में एक्सपोर्ट कम हो रही है, दूसरी तरफ ईयू कंट्रीज में एक्सपोर्ट कम हो रही, तो आप इसको कैसे टैकल करेंगे?
विवेक जी, देखिए, ये जो चर्चा चल रही है ये चांसलर मेर्ज के भारत यात्रा को लेके है, लेकिन आपके जो प्रश्न हैं वो सही हैं. जहाँ तक मेरे विचार में आपने जो सीबैम का प्रश्न जो उठाया है, सीबैम को लेके अभी भारत पे कुछ भी इम्पोज नहीं किया जा रहा है। ये एक इशू है जो इंडिया EU FTA के तहत अभी इसके ऊपर बातचीत चल रही है और हमारी पूरी कोशिश है कि जितने भी जो भी हमारे इंटरेस्ट हैं उन पे हम ध्यान देंगे जब ये पूरा अग्रीमेंट हो जाएगा। अभी अग्रीमेंट पूरा हुआ नहीं है, CBAM इसके तहत डिस्कस हो रहा है एंड वी विल टेक केयर to protect our interests under this particular agreement.
Thank you, sir. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this press conference. Thank you very much for your presence.
All right, so this was External Affairs special briefing on German Chancellor's visit to India. Vikram Misri, Secretary MEA, said visit provides opportunity to take stock of the partnership and set ambitious agenda and target for the future. He also gave details of the MOUs that have been signed between India and Germany. So this is the gist of what he said, and we'll have a detailed story soon. So that's a wrap of D-Day India News Hour.